Good morning. It's David Becker or David R Becker. Don't forget that. David R Becker at BeckerArt, and we are going to do a demo with David this Sunday morning, and we're going to be doing it inside because it was snowing out last night, and so we actually have snow here in Illinois, our first snow of the year, and so we're going to be doing this inside of the cafe, really nice, warm. Would have been nice to be there and actually do it inside, but we're going to be doing it from my studio here Ingleside, Illinois. So let's go right down to because it's going to take a little bit. No, that's Valley Pen. That's not what we're going for. We're going for right here. Sorry. So here, I'm actually using my new palette this Sunday morning, and here's my new palette I built, and I just took all my colors from my other palette and I just script them out. And one thing nice thing about Holbein watercolors is they stay rubbery, and so you can just take them out of the one palette, and I just kind of put them into this other one, and it came out like a big block of like plastic, and they rejuvenate instantly. And so this now is my palette that I can move colors around too, except for the corners, which I would have to pop off, but it's movable. Everything is movable, and so I've two less colors here. I'm gonna figure this out and see if these are the right colors I want to use. So far, they're ones I normally use, but there's a couple I left out, and there maybe a couple I'm going to put in. So this is like an ongoing thing now. But I've got like two of these so far. I have another one here. See, I have another one. I have another one that's here ready to go, and I'm going to do the same thing. And this is my cover. I just use a old plexiglass, and I put it on top. Now I filled them too much, so there's a lot of dirt or a lot of paint in there, but I love it. And then I'm just going to put a rubber band around this one when I need to cover it. Love it. Absolutely love my palette now. It's my own palette I designed, and yeah, I mean you can go out there and get your own palettes and stuff, but I really like this one because I can just switch it around, and so perfectly what I wanted. Anyway, so here's the drawing, and there's the picture right here, the picture right there, and it is a picture that's I found a new stock site. What is it called? Stockcake.com, and it's all AI imagery. And so it's free, for my teaching. It's royalty free, so you don't have to worry about them coming after you. And this is AI, but there's a lot of things in the picture that I saw were really not that great. But it's good for ideas. And I changed a couple of things around, like this person right here. I made a guy and I put a hat on him. And if you look really closely into the picture, it's like some really weird stuff going in there. And so that's what AI does. It doesn't get everything perfectly right. And why is this chair in front of this, the register? But, I'm just going to put it there just because. And so it's kind of weird. But again, it gives me something to practice with, right? And so I wouldn't mind being at the actually cafe, and I would do that, if I sit there at a cafe and take pictures, and then also take and sketch a little bit in a cafe. So that's a great thing to do. Anyway, so here we go. And so there's a lot of stuff in this picture, but watch how I simplify it. And I go with the same thing. I do the 3 steps, right? The 3 steps that I always do in every painting is the beginning. I go for the lights, the large lights, and I get the color scheme that I want going. And so this is going to be like warm and cool, basically. So the outside is going to be cool, inside is going to be warm. And that's just perfect for the scene anyways. So it's like inside is nice, warm and cozy. And we'll make the cool outside the windows. We'll make it nice and cool. I'm not going to put that much information out there as much as you see in the photograph, but I just simplify everything. And I know that it's going to be like a lighter blue. And so the 3-step process is the lights and the color scheme. Number 2 would be the large, mediums, and darks. And then the 3rd step would be all the detailed darks and lights. Deep. So BeckerArt 3-step. Let's go. Let's do this. And so I'm going to start out with the lights, and so of course the light are going to be outside. If you squint your eye at this, I didn't turn it black and white. It's been a rush to get this thing going. So I'm just going to take and do the outside, and it's a little bit of lights out there. And so I've got my towel. I got my new towel. No, it's not new, but I got my towel here, so I can always rub my brush on it. And so I'm going to take. Let me start with a little bit smaller one because I'm going to do more of a tint of color. And so that's a lot of water with a little bit less pigment. And I'm not going to re-wet it first. I'm going to wet it as I go along because I may want to do some soft edges there or some hard edges first. So I'm going to take the blue, like a bluish color. I'm just going to do a tint of color in here. And I can go into the part of the inside, like over this, because that way it's going to be darker, right? And so I'm just doing all my lights, and I'm going to get that window way back there. And so I'm kind of drawing it as I'm painting it too. Let's see who's here this morning. Hey, Pat from Wisconsin. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Maria. It looked like Maria was really busy with Plein Air Live, I saw. Man, it seems like you did like 20 paintings yesterday. No, not 20, but pretty close. So, see, I'm just going in with a tint. And what is a tint of watercolor? A tint is a lot of water with not that much pigment. You know, it's a lot of water, and I'm just getting my lights. And I have the picture on my other screen here. And I don't have to worry about inside. Like I said, I'm just doing the outside right now. Get this out of here so I can see your chat. And again, ask questions if you're like, hey, Pat. Hey, Shanna. And so we're just going to go in here and just get these lights. The lights the outside. I'm actually doing the outside of the building, outside there, all in a blue, cool color, because I want it to stay out there. I don't want it to come in, and it depends on how detailed you want to get it. I'm not going to get too detailed. I just want to get the basically color of the lights, and looking for the lights. Again, go right over your darks. I'm putting the door here, and I'm not sure how the door, like this is, the AI really screwed up this picture with the door right there. It looks like it's wide open or something. So again, if you look at the picture closely, it's there's a lot of weird things that's happening in this AI picture. So this is created totally by AI. This stock place, it's called stockcake.com, and it's all imagery that's all made by AI. So there's no photographs, actually. It's all AI generated. And again, I use that for my students only because I can't get enough of good pictures like this that I can use for all my classes and stuff and workshops. And so it's a good place to go. And every Tuesday and every Sunday morning, I'm looking for imagery that I can explain something, how to do something. And so it's really nice to have something, photographers and like these stock places to give away free royalty-free images. And also, I know a lot of people are against the AI, which is, you don't have to use these things, but you got to get the pictures, good pictures and stuff. And I changed a lot. I didn't change a real lot of it, but I changed it to make it better for what I think is better. And it's just for teaching purposes. So go ahead and use it. 6 paintings during Plein Air Live. I felt like a mad woman switching between gouache, pastel, and watercolor. Oh, wow. It's always good to paint, though. That's my biggest thing right now. I'm telling my students is just paint, paint, paint. How you get good at something? You just paint. Paint a lot. I can't wait until New Year because I'm going to just basically try to do a painting a day and see how that works. So then we're going to go around the lights here. There's going to be no light around that. Like it's not going to be like warm around the light. It's just going to be the light itself is going to be warm. There's these light bulbs hanging inside there. And I'm just using my dirty palette blue from Thursday. And this is the colors from. This is from, because this is my new palette. This is from yesterday morning, and in the I have a class at McHenry, and I just finally used first time I used the palette. This is my first time using my invented palette that I made up, and you can look for my video here on YouTube how I made it. And all the links are on that site too for how I made the palette and how I like it. I really like it a lot. I mean, it's finally my palette of my dreams. Okay, this is so that's my outside, and this is the street. Let's get a little bit grayer. So add orange to your blue, make it a little bit grayer. No, that's too warm, so I'm going to take a little bit more of the violet and purple and just go in there. And again, this is my lights, and so I can go over things in the foreground, so I don't have to worry about that. Just go over it. And I can go back outside here and do a little bit more darks in there, but well, I can do them right now too. Why not? Let's just do them right now. There's like these windows here that are a little bit darker. And actually this person's face is darker than this, so I can go right into him too. Always remember that stuff in front, whoa, I just put some black in there. That these are lights, and so I can go over the things in the front because I'm going to make them darker later. And it actually gives it a neat, better look anyways. His face is going to be lighter, right? So I'm going to make that warm flesh tone. Here I can put little things of the cup, maybe the cup being steamy, like the coffee cup is being steamy. That's kind of cool. And then here there's a tree outside. And you notice I'm not really switching from my blues, and I'm just basically trying to do the blues and just leave them that way. And they're soft edged, they're pretty much soft edged, and that's fine. And actually this should have been right here because it goes right underneath the window. This is another window. I'm just getting what's outside. Again, I'm just trying to make it look like something's happening out there. And I know it looks kind of dark right now because that's the only dark I have. And yes, it does look dark, but that's okay. And I got all this green in my palette, which I was doing a snow scene yesterday. Start doing your cards, start doing your holiday cards, and that's what we're going to focus on next week. Next Thursday is going to be a holiday card, so it's probably going to be maybe a tree, river in the snow. Maybe that's why it snowed last night, to get me get me going with these. There's a pole right here. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that now, and that's my outside. That's going to be the outside. Now let's get to the inside. And the lights on the inside. So it's going to be warm now, so I'll go into some orange, because I'm using blue and orange. And so I'm just going to take my bigger brush and just go over things that need to be light. This tabletop right here, these countertops, they're going to be light, and so I'm just going to color that a little bit. And you notice I'm not doing it really carefully, because this is the lights, and so I don't have to be careful with this part. I'm just kind of going over, lighting all those parts that are... Look at, there's some oranges up here. I didn't even draw those in, so let's put some oranges in here. A little cafe in the morning, some morning cafe, coffee house maybe. Let's put some warmth in here. And you notice I didn't do it where it's like really, really wet into wet. It's okay to have hard edges in here. This is a glass that's going to reflect the outside, so there I can put a little bit of the violet that I started. So that's a piece of glass, piece of plexiglass that's going to reflect what's outside. I got a little bit of, I think I'm liking my palette. See all my warm colors here, my cool colors on this side. It's almost like a color wheel, right? And if I find out later on that I didn't do it exactly the way I wanted to, I can switch colors around. Actually, like, look at this. I can just pick it up. And it has these little thing on the bottom, that stuff, and I can just put it right back down, and it sticks in there really nicely. I love it, absolutely love it. Can't tell you how long I've been wanting to make a palette or have a palette made for me. And this is pretty simple. You just have to buy the right materials, and I put them in that video. I show you all the things that you need. You only need a piece of plexiglass and these things you buy. I just bought them from Amazon. I just bought a bunch more. I want to make a bunch of little palettes. Just getting all the little flesh tone here, some flesh tone. The tabletop's going to be white pretty much. This tabletop is nice and warm. Just a couple... Take some gray with warm, and then just put it in some of this. Some of the stuff on the back wall here is going to be a little bit lighter. So I'm just kind of going around, get my warms. Just looks like the ground is kind of cool, so let's put a little bit of the coolness in there. I know it looks very complicated, the drawing, you know, but you notice I didn't do every little thing in there. You know, I let the paint, when I'm painting it, I will get into that, the little super fine stuff. But this, the bigger things, you know, the bigger areas, I just do that now, and then I get smaller and smaller as I go along, and darker. So I'm still at my light stage, though. I'm still doing my lights. I'm getting in there, getting my light areas, looking for different colors in there of light. Maybe a little bit of pink can come up here. There's a big sign up here, something that's a little bit orange. Got some coolness in these cups. And it shouldn't look like anything yet. I'm just getting the lights, and so you're not going to get anything to look like really perfect yet. I'm not doing details yet. I may have some details that are like edges, you know, I may have a few edges in there, but I'm not painting objects. I'm painting areas, huge areas. And I do that when I'm plein air painting too. I paint large to small. I do the same thing when I'm outside. And there is snow on my car this morning and stuff. I'm thinking, boy, because you know, one of these days I do want to go out there and paint outside in the winter and stuff. And so it's not, just to try it, give it a shot. What the heck? You know, sit in your car maybe also. You know, sit in your car and just paint and draw. I should get some kind of setup where I can do it in my car too. A little bit of the outside underneath here. All these chairs and everything in front here is all dark, and so I'm just looking for what's lit up a little bit. The edging, even the edging of like their hair, the hat. You know, I want it to be warm inside. I want to make it feel nice and warm. And this also gets rid of some of the white of the paper that you're so scared of when you first, you know, get into a painting. So you're just putting in your lights, and it's not going to affect anything that's going to ruin anything. You're just putting in those lights, putting in some of your color, getting your color scheme going. Like, look at this nice blue coming down here. I'm just going to take the blue, put it right in there. There's a shadow right underneath the table here. And this is a little bit darker, but not really that much darker. It's just my lights. Just my lights. Here's going to be really dark. This whole corner is going to be really dark. And so I can put a little bit of blue in back here underneath. Anything that reflects the outside, inside, is kind of neat too. I will be using gouache to do, you know, I didn't put down masking fluid to keep my lights and stuff because I'm going over them. Like the white of the paper, I'll just do that with the, right over her face. I'll just do that with white paint. This outside here can be that. So. Alright, I think that's pretty much enough for my lights. Let's put a little bit of, so the light itself should be white. Basically it should be white. And then what you do is you maybe do the inside element there. You keep that white, and then you just make everything orange here. The rest of it could be orange. Or even yellow. Actually, it goes from yellow. That's one thing. I do gotta find myself a better yellow. I noticed that as I put it on this side here, but this yellow is a little bit, well, that's actually pretty bright. I put a little white with my yellow. Dull it down a little bit, and then I'm just gonna use my yellow here on the edge next to the white. Put a little bit of yellow shining on things. Alright, let's get some of our darks now. Alright, so that's pretty much my lights. That's my light areas. And that took me how long? Let's see. It started at 8:30. Almost 10 minutes. Actually, almost 20 minutes. Oh, wait a second. Let's get going here. All right, so now my middle tones. Now I got to go in with my middle tones to my darks, and so I'm looking, and I can't do it in the wet areas because if I want soft edges, I could do it then. But I usually want hard edges now, and so I'm going to start over here, I think, and work my way across. I kind of like to make a plan of attack, and like which way do I go, and so let me start going down through here, and then back up. Let's try that. So let's, I hear the train coming again. So let's start over here with my darks, and there's another lamp actually up here, so let me just put this lamp in. I didn't see that until now. And so I used a little bit of like a burnt sienna, a little bit of black, and then I'm going to put some blue in there just to tone it down. It's almost kind of like a brown. It's almost making a brown. Let's put some violet in there. We love violet. Now, where's my violet? My violet was next to my, here I think that's my violet. So you gotta get used to the new palette because I just arranged this palette now. So I want to make it sure that all my palettes are the same so I can go right into areas and just grab that paint. So see how already I'm going to pick out the areas, and I established a nice dark. Let's take some red over here because I want things warm. And there's a bunch of things on this shelf here, and I already, the things that are light on this shelf, already did the color of them, right? And so I'm just going to go in there and maybe put a little bit more orange, warmth. And that's my middle tone. That's a big middle tone. And just keep on going down. I don't have to get my dark details. I just have to get the large areas of middle tone. This is a large area of middle tone. And I'm going to get closer to the window. It's going to reflect some of that coolness into the background. So I'll go with a gray. And then there's a little pot right there. A little flower pot. And there's a lot of darks coming through here. I mean, there's a lot of darks underneath the shelf. So I try to go big areas and then but still go around some negative paint around some of these objects on there. And depending on how detailed you want to make that, that's how slow you may want to go slower because you may want to really go in there and make sure you get each pot or whatever that's up there to look like whatever it is. I don't worry too much about that on these demonstrations. And for myself to practice because I just want to make the area, I mean, you're going to know that's a shelf and what's on there you don't really kind of see anyway. So is that important that you see what's up there? Not really. There's another flower pot, put a little orange in here. And you notice how I'm going down all together here and I'm coming down and just getting what I need to get done. A little bit more of the middle tone colors in there, a little bit of orange maybe. This whole shelf thing here, oh I forgot the oranges, there's some oranges in that pot right here, and that's where the my using gouache will come in when because I'm really trying to do a style where I can use gouache after I get to a certain point. And so it has more of a oil painting look. Just keep on going down. Just get down here. This is warm. This is warm, but that little piece of plexiglass is cool. I'm thinking warm and cool, basically. And then as I go down, I have to go darker. And so I pick up my dark colors. My dark colors are over here, right? And there's a warm dark and there's a cool dark over here. So decide on what you want. Do you want a cool dark, warm dark? Inside here, I want more of a warm dark. Just keep on going down. Large areas. I'm not doing super fine details right now. I'm just getting big areas of dark done. And I am going around certain things because this is a little shelf thing here, and so a little bit of a monitor here for paying. Probably a square. Oh gosh, I just put brand new black in there. So when I put new colors in, they're very, very, I think they have like the dried up ones a little bit more. So when I go in there, I pick up way too much paint. Okay, shelf. Top of this countertop is lighter, but I can make it look shiny by what? By making reflections into that shelf. And just bring reflections down into there. Any questions? I'm placing my order for your palette now. I'm not sure if I'll be selling them, but I may. We'll see. Maybe I'll try some. Okay, a little bit of coolness up here. Might as well. And now this is the corner down here, and how important is that you make that look like something? Barely, not at all, because it's, so this is a really dark blue, is this a purple? Yeah, okay. So this is just a dark area, and so how important is it that I make this corner look like something? Absolutely not at all, because I want to keep it out of focus, and so I'm going to wet it now. Just go in there and make a nice dark. Not really worry about what that looks like underneath, and I can negative paint this chair a little bit. Maybe put a little bit of warmer color here, add a little bit of warm color. When I say warm color, I just go into my warm colors, orange, red, pink, whatever. Just you put in some warm. Though this is reflecting a little bit of the outside, so then I can put a little bit of blue in there too. Put a little blue on the edge here, because that's reflecting the outside. Then we can go right into, see, I'm just basically going to go this way. Like I said, I make a roadmap of how I'm going to paint it, because I go from this side, I get it done, just keep on going. Large areas, I'm not too worried about the really fine detail in there, just the larger details where I can go all together with like this chair together with underneath of this thing. With his coat, he's more warm, so he's got like a reddish jacket on, so I'm just going to go right there, right into his jacket, and put it together with the background with his chair maybe. All making it one wash, trying to go through and making everything a one wash, middle tone to darks now, large dark, so that makes it larger, right down to his pants, right down to this chair in front of that. It's all together. I don't paint pieces, I paint areas. I paint the whole area. If a leg of the table, leg of his legs, the front of this chair all together. Look at how it's all coming together like a big puzzle piece. This is a huge puzzle piece. And then her leg too, right away. Let's put that right in there. And as I'm wetting it, I'm using just one color, but then I noticed that maybe I want to make her legs a little bit cooler, so I'll put some blue in there. And then underneath here, I don't see anything. I came and I'm looking at the picture, and I don't see anything that I can possibly make to look like something. So okay, this is the outer edge of that chair, and I just got rid of the lighting edging. So that's going to be put in back with white. So go down here, do the leg underneath the chair. The only part that's light is the outer edge here, and so there's a little cushion on top of this chair. I'll put maybe a little bit warmer here. And this is on the back side of that cabinet. Then there's a little part of the chair that goes down like this. Then this is what's this? Oh, this is the back of the chair. This is the leg from the back, the other side. And then this whole area underneath here with his legs and stuff, I have no idea what's going on underneath there. So basically, and I also I drew it that way where I don't see, and there's the bottom of the table here. And then this chair leg is pretty dark, and this is pretty dark. Just bring it all together. And then there's a shadowing on the floor. There's a shadowing on the floor, so just bring that down. Shadow it down. It won't matter if you don't see what's happening down there. And so that's the way you paint it. You paint it so that you don't even know what's going on right there. You just make it dark. Because if you made it light, then it defeats the purpose, because you want to make it look... This is one big wash. You see that wash I did? It's all one big, huge wash that I put all together. And so now you can see the person. There's a chair here, which I'll go in with my details to really identify that it's a chair. But for now, and she is really dark, and so I can just keep on going. Still, I got that path going, right? I got that path going of my middle tones and my darks. Now I can give her a different color. Let's see, she has a blue coat on, or jacket or whatever, and so I'll just do that real quick. All together. Hey Lyle, good morning. Placing my oil. Okay, I read that already. Ask questions, guys. I'll look up every once in a while. I'll see if look at this is all wet, and so that's like that got really mushy. So we're gonna have to do something about that later. Right now we're still working them, and this I put it backing on this chair when in the photograph there wasn't. And this photograph is really screwy. If you look at it close, there's some really screwy stuff that the AI did to this picture. Because it created it from nothing, right? It created from stuff. I'm not sure how they created it, because it's a stock website where they make pictures out of AI. So very interesting stock site. So now the hair, I put the hair. Of course, she's got to have red hair. Okay, we're going to give her some rim lighting on her hair. And then her face is going to be dark, or just going to be dark going behind her face, which I'll get to later. Right now, again, I'm going one direction, and I have to get that done. I don't jump around a painting. Don't ever jump around a painting. It's really hard to get anything done if you're going over here or here, and you don't know how wet it is, how dry it is, and so you got to stick with your plan of attack, with your map of how you're going to paint it. I do that in my mind. I think, okay, I'm going to go this, this, and this. So I'm just going to go around first and get the things, the big areas. This is going to have a shadow. This will have a shadow. Now we're up to her already. This is a little dark here. There's a potted plant on the window here. We're going to give him a buffalo plaid like my hat. This guy is a buffalo plaid guy. So we're going to make red. Let's give him a red hat too. So dark. Go right into her hair. Just happens to be so many redheads in this cafe this morning. And then we go right into her top, or maybe give it then maybe a little bit bluer from the outside here, and a little bit lighter on the edge here, and then darker. And this is really wet, so I'm still getting that big water blossom, because that's still been really wet for some reason. There's a little hair in here. Was the AI stock site called Stockcake? Yes, stockcake.com. And the images are really kind of interesting, because they're really, I don't know, they're very laid out really well, a lot of them. And so it was very interesting to see this site. And I used, like last week I did those fishermen. That came from that site too. And like I said though, a lot of this stuff doesn't look right. I mean, so you have to change that when you go to paint it, because you don't want it to all look like really creepy or weird, because there's arms and stuff that are looking wrong, and it looks too clean sometimes. So I just change those things and I make it a painting for one. Now here I'm just going to make this dark down here too, because I don't want to again see exactly what's going on there. So I'm just going to make it dark. And then again, this is one big wash. Look at that, it's one big wash. I kept on going. Keep on going. Oh, is that her hair in the back? Oh yeah, 'cause that's really weird. Like, look at her hair. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but her hair, is that a scarf that she? Oh, that's probably what it is. Probably a scarf that she has on. But I bent her arm a little bit right here too, so their arm goes up and is holding a cup of coffee. So put like there's her finger and there's a cup of coffee. And that's his cup of coffee. A plate, and then it's shadowed. And see how it's all just one big wash. And then I'll go in there to make things look a little bit better. I can rub out, I can put in. So it'll all be good when I go to do the detail. This is still a big area of medium and dark now that are big areas. So now I'll go a little bit dark back here. I'll go with a little cooler because this is in the background. So I'll go with this part to being a little cooler. Give him rim lighting. This guy with his hat on. So usually right next to the window, you'll get a lot of reflection from the outside into that area. And so just put that right in there. This wall has a lot of things on it. But overall, I want it to be dark, and I can just keep it dark. Maybe the center can be a little bit warmer. This door is already done for the outside. That's already there. You know, we've got that part done. Let's get her a little bit. Let's get some reflections on the tabletop. My paper's ripped right here, so this is going to be the edge of the frame anyway. So, and then the door itself, I'm going to make this. This is like a frame around the door. Same time, I can negative paint him. This is dark here. It's outside, so the outside you can stay where it is. Here's the handle of the door. I can negative paint his nose and his mouth here. This is the handle. And again, I made that up because it was really screwy. I'm not sure how that was on the picture. There's a little sign in the door. This is the window above the door. So it's dark all the way around here. Just picking up a dark. It's basically my darks and middle tones. That's what it is. My darks and middle tones. And all these lights that are up in this dark, I can either put them in now with what I had put before the light, or I can put them in with gouache later on, like a big brush stroke of something. Let's make this a little bit darker. This is really dark up here. Remember, your darkest dark is going to be black. You know, that where it's super no, almost nothing. It's just basically almost black. And it could be a colorful black. It could be a warm black. It could be a cool black. But that's your darkest dark. That's the darkest you can get is black. And most watercolors don't use enough of the dark black. When they have to get their darkest dark, you know, super dark, then use black or mix your black, but you got to make it really, really dark. Super dark. If you're going to do that. If you're going to do a really dark black for your darks. If you're doing a more high-key painting where you don't have a really super dark black, then that's fine too. But I tend to like to use really a dark now. How much time do we have here? Half an hour? Or less than half an hour, but we're getting there. Now we're going to do this centerpiece, and these lights are going to be shining into the window, but they can also shine here. So I'm going to put a little bit of warmth right here against this part of the wall. The rest I can make, well, that's all kind of, it starts out cool up here. And it goes to a warm. So now it's wet, and so I can go in here now and like put a little bit more water there, take out a little bit, make it look like it's a shiny piece of wood that the sun is, or this light is reflecting into that. You can go sideways like this, and I like to use a flat brush when I'm doing things that are rectangular or lines like this. Because with the round brush, you have to get the edges, where here you can just go with one brush stroke, you can get the whole line going really well. You can also do that part, but on the edges is better to use a flat brush. Like here where I'm drawing, now I'm going to use a round brush. When I'm drawing, I use a round brush so I have a really fine point. So I got to get around her face. I got to kind of negative paint around her face, get her nose. And so that's good enough right there. Not perfect, but it's good enough. And now I'm starting to get into a little bit more detail. And then when I use detail, I definitely use my round brush because I can get a really fine point. Which you can also get a fine point on the edge of your flat brushes, but when you're doing detail, it's best to use a round brush then. Let's make his hair nice and right by his collar here, it'll get a little darker. And see how now you can almost see what the scene is already. You can see the scene, you got all your soft edges, you got your big glowing areas, and the big areas are done. And so now, detail time. And that's where you go in and spend as much time as you want, and spend more time too. Go and get your details done. I'm going to get some green. I got to get some green for the... And for green lately I've been using turquoise colors. Because I just like that kind of, and look at how clean my palette is. I never mixed anything into everything yet. But once I get it mixing, you're going to see I'm going to get a bunch of colors into the other colors, but that's okay. Yeah, just there's some plants here. Into details. Good morning from South Carolina. Loving this. Thank you, Judy. And here we're going to get a plant over here. There's a bunch of plants here. Get the big stuff done. Now I can go and do all the detail I want and spend all the time you want in there. You know, look at what is happening in the picture. Maybe you put different, put little flowers in here maybe. A little red. The warmth. And then you start looking at the person himself and go, okay, this needs to be a little bit darker on her. Her shoulders darker. Maybe underneath the hair we get a little shadow. We go around this chair part here. Underneath her arm. Same thing with over here. That's her hair a little bit. Boy, I'm not sure why this area is not drying. It's so weird. That whole area has not been... Is there something going on underneath here? If this is wet or something? I don't think so. It's really weird. Okay, let's see. Where should I start again? Let's go around this way again and just get these things done now. So I'll go in there, get this little line. It's detail time now. And so that's where you get all the details. You look at the picture, figure out what things are, make them look like what they are. Here's the little post of the shelving unit. Then we got this is a little bar that goes across here. And go for the big parts too. When it comes to doing this little detail, always large to small. Don't paint super fine pieces. Paint areas still. Bigger areas go to smaller, smaller, and smaller. So, like underneath the shelving, the shelf itself is a nice, really dark. So just get that part done, and you'll make the shelf look like a shelf. Then it's detail. There's another post right here going down. This is part of the side of the shelving unit. Then I didn't put the orange in there, and there's a bunch of little lines right down here. I'm not sure what that all is. There's a bunch of lines going down, like electrical plate things or something. Up on top here, there's a couple things on the top of the shelf up here. You can make it look like something or just make it look like shapes. You don't have to make it look exactly like something. You don't have to tell what everything is. The outside of these lamps are very warm. There's very golden yellow. So I'll use Cracking Gold. And I'll just do the part that's holding the light bulb in. It's kind of golden. And there's a bunch of little lines. Let's see if I got time. Okay, almost 16 minutes left. So detail takes the longest because those other things is very large areas, and it doesn't take too long to do large areas. But this small stuff, then you got to really look and see what the item is, what the area is, and spend more time because it's a little bit more detailed. So you got to really go in and look. Maybe sometimes use a ruler. Look like what the object is and try to make it look like what that object is. I tend to not do that very often though. I kind of tend just to kind of fake the areas. Like I know there's a bunch of glasses over here, and so what would be the thing about glasses? There's a lot of light and dark, and a lot of like small changes of light and dark. And so what I'll do is I'll first get the dark now. I'll get the big darks, and I'll put in the white paint for the glow and the reflections of glass, because the glass is like a mirror, right? And so you see everything in the glass. A lot of lights and darks. Just keep on going, keep on going. Keep on swimming, keep on swimming. Here's a dark cash register. Some dark thing here. And I basically go up for either light or warm darks. I don't think about it that much. I just look at my palette, see what I have in there, and that's a warm. Well, that's like a purple, and a purple is a both. It's like warm and cool. And then you just shift it to one way or the other with lavender here. I'm just going to put some lavender. And now this is opaque, so this is basically I'm using gouache. But that's okay if you make it thick, but don't. This is more of a gouache than kind of technique, or oil painting technique, where you're taking a thick amount of pigment and you're putting it in there. And so here is a reflection of this guy's shirt right here. Just going to put that into that reflection. Here's a little plant back there. Then a little bit of what's this? Well, there is like a car back there, but I'm not going to work out the outside yet. And I'm going to do the whole inside first, because the outside is pretty much just what's out there basically. And her face, her nose is like really sharp. There we go. And that's super fine detail when you get to that point. That's really fine details when you start doing the face and stuff like that. I still have to get the big parts done. So I'll reflect a little bit of this into the counter. A little counter reflection. There's a little shadow underneath this part right here. I'm using a little lavender. Lavender is a great colorful gray. That's how come I like using lavender, because it makes it a colorful gray compared to just using a gray. It's a little bit more colorful. I'm going to get a really dark, or I'm using black and a little bit of dark blue. And I'm going to make this area over here really dark. There's a leg coming down here on the counter here. Use a little bit bigger brush. A bit warmer here. Boom. Then the arm. See how now things are coming together? You're starting to see things. You're starting to see what things are, how they're laid out, what the actual object is. And then you can leave parts alone because those are already painted. Like this chair top here, I'm just going to negative paint around that, use the leg again. So you're just getting darker than your middle tone that you did before. And even though it's dark, this is a little bit darker now to make it look negative painted. And then this is the back here. And even though it's dark, you can go one way or the other. You can go cool or warm. You can still do a cool or warm dark. and that definitely separates things too. If you go for a warm dark, a cool dark, it separates things. And a lot of people don't ever use the darks that way. They just don't ever make it dark enough so that you can see the difference between the warm dark or the cool dark. I will be having to use a little bit of white later on because I missed some of the places and I didn't get them right the first time, the first wash, and so now I'm getting all the darks now, right? I'm just going in there, getting these little nice darks and separating bottom of the foot, the shoe. This is the back part of this thing. Get some more of that green for the plant. And so there's a plant that come in on the back here. Paint areas, not pieces. Paint areas. I mean, you're painting pieces, like you are painting like this right now. I'm painting the leaves, so that's a piece of the leaf. But I'm thinking about it as a whole area. Like, how can I make this area look better than what it is? And here's a chair that I'm just automatically put in myself. There was not a chair in the picture, so I got to make this up. And so, I put a table over here instead of what was there. I couldn't tell what was there, so I just made something up. And then this leg, and this area is not drying. For some reason, that one little area is not drying. I think I erased something there, and so I wrecked the paper, so it's more like a sponge then. And so then it doesn't dry as well because the paper is a little bit ruined. And I'm gonna have to put some warmer, a darker flesh tone because I'll use a little bit of the burnt sienna, and that'll be like the area that's made a little bit darker then. Side of the nose. And then for him too, the shadow of the front, his ear a little bit, bottom of his nose, bottom of his chin. And it doesn't have to be super perfect because they're pretty small, and so you don't have to make this perfect. And because it's a little bit more impressionistic anyways, you're not really going in there and making a portrait. You can see it's a person, so you just go in there and make it enough to make it look like it is a person's face. And the hair. Getting close. You know, as again, I always kind of go in a map kind of way. I kind of map it out so I know they go from one side to the other, and then by the time I get there, I can go back again in here and get even tighter things. But I don't jump around like I just did. I try not to do that. I try to just stick with the area, get it done, and then move on from that area. Keep on going. And I'd rather you just go all the way around and then go again and get more and more detailed each time you go around. So here you go. Shadowing from the person up there again. That shadows on this chair. It's just not drying. I should just dry it with my thing because I'm not sure why that's not drying. It's so weird. Sometimes you get that if you ruin part of the paper, it doesn't dry. And this little area is ripped, the paper's hit, but that would be on the side of the edge of the on the frame. If you framed it, that would be on the edge. Let's put this a little bit. Alright, let's see if this will. Top of the chair. Yeah, I definitely ruined this paper because I can tell it's like I'm constantly getting a watermark over there too. So you just deal with it, and then later on when it's dry, and here's a hair in there now too. Together with that, there's a hair. So what I'll do is later on, I will go in there with gouache and just straighten it out a little bit. All right, let's see. Let's go for our gouache now because we only got like 5 minutes left. No, we got 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So what? I'm gonna look at it for a second. Let me just see. Do my outside here a little bit. I'm gonna get a little bit into the outside. Do some dark, hard edge on the outside, and so I see there's something over here with little lines. It's part of the outside though. And then I'm going to try to keep things light though, not too dark, just keep it lighter, so the inside the car here. Just make it a little bit more detailed outside, just again, because I'm at my detail state, so it's not too bad to do things outside here too. Make it a little bit more detailed so you can identify what's actually happening outside too. And it's not like a really contrasty or anything. I'm just making it a little bit more detailed, so you can kind of tell like it's a, it's a city, and there's this, maybe this is a door out there. It's not super detailed or anything like that, but it's enough just to show what's going on out there a little bit. Like these are windows. Maybe this tree. More branches. Maybe put some smaller branches going up here, and maybe putting leaves on them. Maybe this window has a little bit more detail. And you can fake stuff out here too. A little sign on this one. Oop, your questions went away. All right, time for my gouache now, because let me take my heat gun. I gotta dry this area. This is bugging the heck out of me. So I'm just gonna take my heat gun and just dry that really quick. Alright, so I'm gonna take my small brushes, and I'm gonna go into like white paint. I'll go into a little bit of gouache. And it's not gouache per se that I bought gouache, it's just, well, first let me do this dark. This guy needs darker hair. But the gouache, I make my gouache, and why do I say it's gouache? It's actually opaque watercolor. And that's what gouache is, opaque watercolor. It's not like the fact that you're buying a different kind of paint. It's just opaquer. It's an opaque watercolor, and I make it with my white, and I'll have some colors of my watercolor that are a little bit more opaque-like. There's like a little sign here with a little cup. So let's go into, I've got gray on gray, which is almost a white, but it's just a little gray. And so I'll take parts, like the side of her, and put a little line, because she's shiny right there. Maybe her scarf goes down here, and you get the front of her. His hat is already rimmed. Her hair is already rimmed, so that's nice. This chair, remember the top of this chair? So I got that. And remember I said the glass? The glasses themselves, I'm going to use some white. My white, I'm going to show you finally that I like to use this white in a bottle, in a jar, called Pro White. But I keep on forgetting to bring it in here. So I'm going to put that in the jars and cups up here. Because glass is very reflective, right? And so you're going to get a lot of reflection up there. Same thing up here. If there's a couple glasses up there, you can just put these little details in there. And I'm just using white paint. This is not traditional watercolor for when you're doing transparent watercolor, but it's okay to use it if you feel like you're not going to submit it to some kind of show that's like TWSA. And I actually like the look because I feel like I'm getting a little bit of an oil painting look to it now and an acrylic look because I'm gonna getting my lights with pigment. I can get a little bit more details in there. I just make it a little bit darker here. Got 1 minute left. Just gonna take this really dark and do the side of her pants here. This whole area's been bugging me the heck out of me, so I'm gonna see if I can't get the look right before we leave. Just get that dark. Get this chair in here. Get these. Put a little bit of white paint for a little bit of a for the steam coming out of the coffee here. Put a little steam in there. How about the little steam there? Right. All right. So I think that is about it. So what do you think? I think it's okay. I hate that right there. That's outside. Just do that real quick. I'm not sure what I did there. I'm supposed to make a sign there, but I don't do too much outside here. This is like I get a little bit too crazy with stuff, but that's it. There you go. So I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something about doing a scene that seems complicated. I know a lot of times people look at scenes like this and go, oh my gosh, how could you ever do a scene like this with that much stuff in it? But you saw how I did it. You just go through the whole area and make the big parts first, and you get smaller and smaller, get more detailed and detailed as you go along, and do the BeckerArt 3-step. All right? Pro White, yes. Yep, that's what I was talking about, the Pro White by Dollar Romney. Yeah, and there's also something by Dr. Martin. They also do a little jar of white, and it's a really nice white because it stays really white, and I just go right into the little jar, and I'll bring it next time, hopefully on next Thursday. All right? So have a great rest of your Sunday. Hopefully it won't be snowing by you like it will be by us tonight. I guess it's supposed to be really bad. Snow, the lake effect snow is going down to Chicago and Indiana, basically. But hope you had a great time, and I'll see you on Thursday. All right. Thanks, guys.